last video, I had a pretty interesting take on the biggest problem with the Chucky TV series. Maybe some of you agree, maybe some of you don't. It's definitely not a point of view that I had heard from anyone else prior, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you saw it as a weirdly random complaint to have about a show. Maybe some of you even found it controversial. For those who haven't seen it, definitely check it out once you've made it to the end of this video. Speaking of which, in this video, we're going to be talking about something I believe a lot more of us can agree on, because it's been talked about a lot, and that's changing the genre from horror to comedy. Everyone knows Seed of Chucky did not receive well at all, and a huge part of that was that it's extremely difficult to take as seriously as the other installments. Aside from Child's Play 3, which is actually my favorite, it's one of the only films in the series that aren't well liked. If you disagree with that, leave a comment and let me know what's a Child's Play film you didn't like and why. In the TV series, however, it's worse. They not only make Chucky a comedian half the time, but now he's cultured and makes a lot of references that only younger audiences will understand. Chucky isn't a stranger to cracking jokes or saying things with a not so serious tone, but traditionally, he's got a very low tolerance and didn't take things nearly as far with the messing around as he does now. They didn't really turn this all the way on into a brought up Chucky, but even that movie is still a serious movie with a decent horror story. A runaway couple that murder follows. They get meta here and there with outside horror references, and maybe one or two of the kills aren't as serious as previous kills. But that's nothing compared to Seed of Chucky, where Chucky masturbates while a paparazzi takes pictures of him. Curse of Chucky cemented that the franchise's traditional horror element is where it's at, hence the success of Cult of Chucky. It should have been evident that staying away from anything that reminds us of Seed would have been the best way to go, but not according to Don Mancini. Now, I'm not going to go back on what I said in my previous video. Season 1 was a masterpiece in my book. I can forgive Chucky singing We Got the Beat. I can forgive Tiffany commenting on Chucky having a small package when he's not been using his package, he's been using Nika's supply. Whether the horror theme only slightly outweighed the comedy, or if it was a perfect tie between the two, the show was at least serious enough, as long as the comedy didn't completely force you to forget that Chucky is meant to be serious. Season 2, on the other hand, went completely backwards. This is literally the only problem I have with Season 2, besides the Glenn and Glenda retcon that I made a short about. I know some people think Season 2 was awful compared to Season 1, but I think it had enough of its moments and enough good story to be considered a good season as a whole, but changing the genre all the way back to being campy like Seed was is where they lost major points with me. I mean, seriously, Season 2, Episode 4 is basically one big ongoing gag. The characters talk about weird random stuff, they do unnecessary voice impressions, and to fill in Chucky's absence as a doll, there's a talk show segment. The only thing there is to take seriously this episode is the return of Glenn and Glinda and their reunion with Chucky. But other than that, I feel like they might have given Dawn too much creative authority with this episode. Didn't anyone behind the scenes question the difference in gravity with this episode compared to all the others? It's literally the continuation of Seed in one episode, from comedic sex scenes to celebrity appearances, the whole package. There's a theory going around that actually Season 2 wasn't ticking up after Season 1's Child's Play 2 theme by taking inspiration from Child's Play 3. That actually Season 1 took inspiration from the original trilogy, while Season 2 takes on the theme of Bride and Seed, which means that Season 3 will bring back the traditional horror aspect that was revived in the movies that followed, Curse and Cult. And I sincerely hope that this theory turns out to be true. In Season 2, we got too many segments, too many random movie references, some of which that weren't even horror, too much humor, and too many things going on that didn't matter. I'm not saying Chucky should be pure horror, like Child's Play 1 and Curse of Chucky was, and that's the only way to go either. I've only seen a few pick up on the fact that Brought Up Chucky is where a lot of inspiration from the Scream franchise starts coming in, and if that's what they're going for, and wanting to stick to, then I can accept it, but only enjoy it if it's done right. Bride is an example of it being done right. But if something isn't broken, don't fix it. You just wound up stabbing it with a voodoo knife and ruining it for everyone. They could have kept the theme Curse had, and I guarantee you, people would have never been disappointed from that point on. And like I said, season 1, perfect balance. They could have kept that. But no, Don Mancini thinks this is the Chucky that works apparently. Or maybe he wanted to give it another try, but still, he should have acknowledged the feedback he got before and at least turned it down a notch. But he didn't even do that. The campy tone of this season not only matches Seed, but competes with it. So I really hope that after releasing this season, they get the point. Chucky isn't as favorable in this genre, so stop changing it. Thank you all for making it in this video, which was basically another drawn out season 2 critique. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree, disagree, or do you have any suggestions for other Chucky topics I should cover? Let me know. Until next time, goodbye.